Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to ETeeski 2. This is my second YouTube channel. My main YouTube channel is ETeeski Tutorials, where I have a bunch of tutorials on how to create video games inside of the Unity3D game engine, which is the engine that was used to create the game that this team of people I have with me on Skype right now used to create their latest game, which is Vertis Per Verba first-person shooter. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, that's about right. Unless we're going to go Latin on your ass and go, it's Virtus Per Verba, but whatever.
That sounds a lot cooler when you say it that way.
Yeah, even though it's set in a school, that whole mystical thing doesn't work, but whatever.
Yeah. So I guess if you haven't seen the game before, there is a link in the description to see. I did a Let's Play of it earlier, and it was a lot of fun to play. But I
Fun
guess,
to watch as well, actually. It was
Yep.
hilarious.
oh yeah, yeah. No, I had so much fun playing that game. I was so surprised. Like everything that I saw in the trailer, I was kind of skeptical, and I kind of thought it was like sort of faked a little bit. Like maybe it might have just been animations. Then like all of a sudden,
Mm.
all of this stuff was happening like in game, and turned out like way better than the trailer made it look it to be.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that trailer's copped a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, it pretty much condensed the whole game down into like a minute.
Yeah, it was all Yosha playing his game and screaming at the computer inside the labs at uni.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good fun. With people staring at you, it's like, the hell is wrong with you? I'm doing work. What are you doing?
All right, so why don't we go through you guys and introduce you guys and talk about what your roles were in creating this video game? And you guys go by Anti-Societies Studio?
The Anti-Socialites.
Oh, I read that wrong. I've been
Yeah.
reading
Yeah,
that wrong.
a lot of people get a little confused with it. It's a retarded word, so whatever.
It's anti what again?
Anti-socialites.
Oh, anti-socialites. I guess I just always read it societies. I just looked at the first and last letter and assumed. I'm dyslexic. Okay. Actually, no. I know in my tutorials there's like 15 tutorials in a row. I spelled the word ratio wrong, and everybody made fun of me for that.
So, it was like, nah.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we start with you, Yosha? Is that your pronounce your name?
Yeah, Yosha.
Oh,
Art.
Yasha.
Yeah, I'm the art director, art lead. I always wanted to use that term, art director. But yeah, I did the animations, concept art, and textures for the game, as well as the general design, like the visual style.
Nice. Yeah. Like I know there's a lot of like I think on your YouTube channel you have like concept art sort of drawings of the characters.
Yeah, no, that's like one of the first few steps we were doing was going through and just illustrating just basic ideas of what the characters would look like, flesh them out from there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I really like the art style. How like I noticed in like the faces of the nerds and probably all the other characters as well, like the geometry of the character, like the 3D model, was pretty simplified. And then was it hand drawn
yeah,
or
it was hand painted. I was using a tablet to do that,
oh
but
okay
yeah, no, because when you're making a game, you don't actually have that much freedom with how many polys you can use,
oh yeah
especially with Unity free. We couldn't like reduce the detail of the character the further away you were.
you can't have a level was it LOD level of
Yeah,
detail.
level of detail. So we had to really cut down on the poly count of these characters. So John, our modeler, was the one who had all the fun with that. Um, but yeah, so what it meant is that we had to rely quite heavily on textures to convey most of the information.
Okay, yeah, I mean it seemed to really work out.
Ah, sweet. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely that hand drawn art style definitely really worked. I thought it looked really cool, like the way it like you really can't tell that they're low poly models until you look at it at like just the right angle and you're really looking for that.
Yeah, it's a hard balance to achieve. I wasn't the modeler though, so I can't really talk. But um, basically, yeah, when you look at lots of game models, you'll see that a lot of the information is conveyed via textures and all these other weird tricks that you can use, like bump mapping or normal maps. Like the 3D model themselves isn't actually that detailed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. All right, well, why don't we keep on moving on? And Jade, let's talk about you. What was your role in this game?
Okay. Initially, I started off as initially going in, we were going to do programming, but Chris ended up taking up a lot of that. So I
Okay.
became more of like a manager and game designer. I put lots of chairs into the environment.
Oh, okay.
That was fun.
So you did a lot of level design then.
Yeah, like I worked with Yosha because he had conceptualized the idea, and it was just about making it, you know, in the game and trying to get the right sort of length, trying to make it conform to the assignment that we had. Yeah, just those sorts of details that if you get really stuck on a game, you forget about and just do other things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're like doing all like the like polish then, I guess.
Yeah, just making sure it got done, I think, is probably more what I did.
Okay.
So it's really just managing, I guess, at the end of it. At least
Don't
that's what I
forget the
remember
user
doing.
interface. You were doing that as
Oh,
well.
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little,
Graphics.
well, that was a last minute thing, and then
Oh,
printing
with the
our stuff.
where you had to drag the bars to make sure it synced up with your
Yeah,
microphone
it
right.
wasn't the best UI, but it's the best you can do in
It
like
was functional.
4 hours.
Oh, really?
If you play the
Yeah.
beta, if you play the beta, that is a really bad UI. It's just
Yeah,
like
no
a
one
whole
could
bunch of
use it.
bars with different colors
Oh,
and
man.
no text. People are just like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
Oh, and testing, of course. User testing. I was
Oh, yeah.
lucky
Oh,
enough
yeah.
to bring the game around to all the kids and get them to sit down and chat at my computer.
Oh, that's really
Um,
cool. Yeah,
yeah,
you're really lucky that you got to do like live user testing with your
it
game.
is.
I know
It's the most useful thing you could probably ever do.
with my latest
Um,
game, I had to do all the testing myself.
no.
That was,
Oh,
and for a
Really?
game that takes like 20 minutes to load, it's not fun.
yeah,
Uh,
no, the user testing, one of the most useful things, but it's like torture. It is like
Yes.
insane torture because the only way to do user testing properly is to shut the hell up and let them play.
yeah,
And you have to fight everything inside you to go, no, go this way, all
yeah,
the things are over here. It's like, no, you're not allowed to. You need to let them do what they do
yeah,
and then
Yeah.
fix
Yeah.
your game so that it conforms to what they're doing. Because
yeah.
you're making a game for them. They're not playing the game for you.
Uh-huh. And then like when people really go to play the game, they're not going to have somebody sitting over their shoulder telling them how to play it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I can
Much.
definitely
I
see where
mean,
like you really want to tell them what to do because like you might have spent like all this work creating the level design in some room and there's like, you want them to go save the nerds in there, but
You
like
just barrel straight through it. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, one problem we had that me and Jade had to deal with level design was that first hallway.
Hmm.
Our solution still doesn't quite work because you also
No.
gone through it. But
What
um,
happened?
initially that hallway was
It was
empty, so you
just straight.
could just go
Yeah.
straight down, and most people ended up just going straight down.
Oh,
So
interesting.
we needed to guide people into the rooms, which is why we put these barricades and like lockers to kind of direct you towards these red doors, which are surrounded
Okay,
with
that's
graffiti. So
interesting. Oh, is that
the
why you
red,
chose to make the doors so bright red?
yeah,
Huh, I would have never noticed that before. That's a really interesting design idea. All right, let's move on to Chris. What was your role in this
Yep.
game?
Okay. I'm Chris, and I was the main programmer. Well, yeah, pretty much. So everything you see there related to the 3D physics and crap,
Oh yeah,
I did pretty much.
yeah.
Uh,
There's a lot
although
of
Yosha
physics
did
in this
a bit
game.
of, yeah, Yosha did some slide, or he did like the initial FPS character, like the first person character movement,
yeah.
pretty much,
Oh,
and
okay.
that stuff.
I was basically following
Yeah.
your tutorials, just trying to
Yep.
Oh really?
like the Unity interface and all that. And our super earliest prototype is basically FPS one,
Oh
except you
sweet.
shouted at things. There's a gun in there for some reason that you
At
could aim down.
cubes, yeah.
I don't know why, but I did that anyway. So whatever.
That's awesome. I feel really honored. So I guess then you ended up using a rigid body instead of a character controller then?
Yeah.
Uh,
Did that work out with the insane amounts of physics that went into making this game?
oh, it wasn't that hard. I mean, Unity already has most of it. You just need to put stuff on
Yeah.
and tweak some stuff. And well, there was some like it does depend on how you manage the rigid bodies and stuff, but we got past that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was really impressive how like different objects with different weights would do different amounts of damage depending on how
Oh, yeah.
their velocity coming towards the player.
Yeah, Yosha tweaked those things because he wanted to make like some objects stronger and stuff. Oh yeah, stronger
Yeah.
and weaker and stuff. Yep.
Like the pop cans were totally useless.
Yeah.
They just bounce off the other people's head.
When we were testing initially, like we had to spend about a month or so constantly changing these values on weights and like strength of these things because at the beginning it was like because
I've
the
too
can was
much help.
so fast, like you could push that so fast, it would do so much damage. So
Oh, because it was so light, it moved so fast?
yeah, pretty
Pretty
much.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Huh. That's pretty cool. All right, well, I think we have talked for about 10 minutes now. So our original plan was to do this video in cuts just to make sure that the footage is working properly. Because I've done videos before where I've recorded for like 45 minutes and then the video, or then I find out that the audio wasn't working, and that's the most demoralizing thing in the world. So I figured we'd do this video in cuts to avoid that. So I guess we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will continue this discussion. All right, and we are back from that little break, and now we are going to talk about the actual game design part of Vertis Per Verba, or in other words, we're going to talk about how the ideas of this game were conceptualized and executed and planned out and all of that. So, who wants to start?
Well, yeah. So, Yosha again.
Yeah.
So the
Start from the
we
beginning.
yeah. So our course wanted us to make like some sort of crazy awesome something. When you're in your final year, they basically ask you to make a major work, which is just a major work. And so we decided to make a game. We wanted to make a game, and we were just sitting there trying to come up with ideas. We had a lot of pretty weird ideas, kind of retarded ones.
Yeah.
And our lecturer came up to us and went, they're kind of good, they're all right, but you want an idea that's kind of crazy? Because we're at an art college place, and it has to be a little bit artsy, has to be a little bit strange, so it kind of suits that place. So
Okay.
me and a couple of friends were just talking on Skype, and we were just shoving like game genres together. We had like a was it first person dating sim or a there's some other really random ideas.
That is a good idea to come up with new ideas, just shoving things together that would normally never go together.
Been playing too much game dev story.
I really wonder what this game would have been like with the first person dating sim.
Could that's an idea for anyone listening.
Yeah.
But we eventually came across SingStar and first person shooter, and now SingStar is a bit complex, you know, because you've got to recognize words and recognize how well they fit in tune. So I kind of pulled that down to why don't we just use audio to shoot? And that's where like previously playing Skyrim with Fusrodar, etc., and the recent Connect release coming out, we're just like,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they did. Well, I'm not sure. It might have been a joke. I have no idea. But
That's a good
someone was
idea,
playing
though.
Connect and he yelled out Fusrodar and the character did that. Well, I'm like, why don't we just make that a game? Why don't we just take that specific part and make that the whole game of actually shouting at things and watching things fly away? And there was a game that kind of did this called Gnilley. It was made in a day, but it's really awesome. If you have time, look it up.
What was it called? Gnilley?
Yeah, Gnilley. Sorry, I can't spell. Gnilley. We'll go
Yeah.
look that
We'll
up later.
put a link in the
But-
description.
Yeah, we can do that. We have the technology.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we decided to just give this a shot and see how shouting in the game would work. And so we got Chris onto making a prototype pretty quickly after we were playing around with your tutorial videos.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first sign that this could work was when Chris showed me the prototype, and he just had a stack of boxes and went, "Okay, check this out." Blah! And the boxes all just flew everywhere.
Oh yeah, that like
Yeah.
stack, or it looks kind of like a brick wall, but it's made of like cubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually,
remember-
I actually just built the brick wall.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That was in the. I remember playing around in the test level just to make sure that the audio was working correctly.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember feeling so badass just knocking down that wall. First, you just
Yeah.
talk lightly at it, and it wiggles, and then you go "Rah," and it falls down.
Yeah, and that basically summarized what we wanted the whole game to feel like. To
That's awesome.
just have that power.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome. That worked out so well. How did you come up with the ideas for the other abilities?
Well,
Oh.
a lot of
Peach?
Half-Life. Oh yeah, our
You wanna talk about
initial idea, we wanted to not use too many buttons
Okay.
because
Hmm.
it was meant to be an arty game. It's going to be played by artish people. I really should not use that word. Makes me sound
No.
pretentious. Anyway,
RT.
RT. But we wanted to use pitch to control your attacks. Now, if anyone's
Hmm.
played Half-Life 2, the gravity gun where you could pull objects and shoot them,
Yeah.
we wanted to do that with your voice as well. Because, like, the first thing people did after shouting at random things was to want to try and hit things with objects. And so we decided to, hey, why don't we add that to the game as well?
So that was like
So-
a idea that was a result of playtesting then.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That really goes to show how important playtesting is.
Super important. Always playtest.
Yeah.
That's you're gonna get anything out of this. It's always playtest.
Yeah, really. That's something
So
I should take to heart.
so yeah, we were gonna do pitch because one, it would be kind of cool, and two, people playing it would just look even more silly, which
Yeah.
is kind of. So it was gonna be your normal shouting would push things, then low pitched would pull things towards you,
Hmm.
and then high pitched would do this kind of area of effect screech effect thing. So people around you would clutch their ears and go, "Ah, it's so painful."
Oh,
Come."
okay.
We ended up not doing that because pitch was such a pain in the ass to not only implement, but lots of people surprisingly don't know how to change their voice's pitch.
I know I
So there's
don't.
There's also the problem that even in our team, we have two very distinct pitch ranges. So just ourselves, we broke our own game.
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that either.
Specifically, Jade, why did you have to have such a high pitched voice?
Yeah.
That would have just
Yeah, the
made
game-
that beginning menu screen where you have to adjust the audio just so much. It would have been like a bar graph or something complicated.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
When we
They'd
were
all be
te-
down the very bottom of it, and I'd be all the way up the top. Which meant that I couldn't ever have like a low attack, and they could never really have the highest attack that I could get.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now, that
Hey,
actually is kind of a cool element. Depending on your voice, you can do different attacks.
Yeah, it would have been fun, but in the end, we just couldn't do it. It was funny because when Jade was trying to do the lowest pitch attack, it was just enough to do the normal attack.
Oh.
Just so, and also when we were showing it around to people, we'd have to spend at least 10 minutes discussing to them how this works.
Oh, okay.
Use low pitch, etc. Then they try low pitch and they go, it's not working, and then just such a pain in the ass. And it doesn't, especially when it was in a crowded environment. Our first test was done in a pub, which is a great place
Oh yeah.
to do testing.
You probably just have like
very-
a steady low roar, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the end, we just kind of scratched it and just went, you know what, just hold buttons. Just hold buttons
Yeah.
and
That's
shout.
a really good alternative. I really like how like left click and right click by themselves didn't do anything, but once you started yelling into the microphone, then they did things.
Yeah, it was good fun. That
Good.
right click kind of added at the end, though. That
was-
area.
It was like having a third trigger or something that like you can like a pressure sensitive trigger or something that you can like go between 0 and full power.
Yeah, it's fun watching people learn that.
Yeah.
They just go, huh? Ah!
Yeah. Figuring out like what things that you can say and get like the most like boom into the microphone, get those really powerful attacks.
We were going to do voice recognition.
Oh,
I say
really?
Like
because like
word recognition,
voice recognition is
phonics and stuff.
Yeah.
a bloody hard amount of work, but also, I mean, we've seen a lot of Connect games that try it and it just feels gimmicky and they say one thing and the game goes, no, you didn't say that, you said this, and does something else.
Oh,
So
yeah.
to just avoid that minefield.
It sounds like that would have also been just the hardest thing to code ever.
Mm.
Or I
We
mean,
help it.
Technically, it would still be easier than doing pitch.
oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I think there's more research into phonics than there is
Oh,
pitch because for pitch, you don't actually get a pure tone. It's not like you can just hard set, if they hit this pitch, then because sound in itself is a wave, so it fluctuates.
oh, okay.
So you can't get a pure sound out of it, which is a shame.
So you have to
Um,
kind of
us-
average it out then.
Yeah, and that's why we gave up on it so quickly because we only had a finite amount of time, and we were talking to people that do DSP, digital signal processings, and they were saying, "Ugh, get away from that. This is so
Yeah,
much
when
easier."
people
Oh,
who
yeah.
work at Dolby for a living tell you, "Hey, this is a bit hard, and you do this crap every day," you're like, "Okay, no, just we'll do something
We'll do
else."
something else. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound tricky. All right, what other game mechanics part of the game can we talk about? We talked about the art style, talked about the game mechanics. Well, I guess this might be a good time to take a break, and we'll discuss what we will talk about next for the third part. And then,
Yay.
so yeah, I guess we'll take one more break, and then we'll be back in just a second. All right, and we are back from that little break, and I guess the next thing we're going to talk about is a topic that Jade came up with, and we're going to talk about, what was it again? Something about the assignment and the limitations of your assignment.
Yeah, and how that affected our game design process.
That
So,
sounds interesting. So yeah, let's talk about that.
I mean, we didn't actually come to the course because, as Yosha was saying earlier, the course was about making a final portfolio piece, and a lot of people usually take that to doing like an animation, some digital photography, or what else do they do, like drawings and stuff like that. Whereas
Video art.
video art, and we came with a computer science background, and we'd always said throughout our degree that we wanted to walk out making a game. So what we did in our course was a bit left of field, and because of that we still had to try and tweak it so it conformed with the assignment, with the criteria. At the end of this there's an exhibition, and if we were to do it right, this game should still be able to fit in an exhibition space, which is a bit of a shame because it means that we had to think about not just one person playing the game, but people watching the game as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
that's probably also would be a really loud environment.
yeah, exactly. And we wanted to have, because it's a college of fine arts, we had to have a very strong artistic style.
Fine arts.
Which is not a bad thing, but it meant that our process was a bit reversed. Usually you start off with an awesome idea, mechanics, and you start playtesting those things, but straight away we had to get our models, our animation, our textures, and all. Yosha and John had to work all the way throughout the process, as opposed to just like midway through when we finally decide what the game's going to be about.
Okay, so you
and what
actually
we
started
need.
doing artwork before you started figuring out what the whole game is going to be about then, huh?
Well,
Pretty
we
much.
actually did all of it parallel, which makes no sense. I don't understand how it worked out. But we basically had to come up with the idea and the style and the visuals in about 2 weeks so that we could just get started on it, because we only had the year to do it, and
Which
that
is
sounds like a
only
huge amount of time.
24 weeks.
But
24 weeks in the end.
we also had
Wow.
like other courses to juggle, and I was overloading like a smart person. It's my
Oh, and
final
sleeping
year. I think
and
I'll take
stuff.
more courses on top. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
man.
food, eating.
Food,
That's a good
eating,
idea.
that thing.
Yeah, man, that can be stressful. Games take so much more time to make than you ever anticipate.
Yeah.
But in a sense, it was good because it meant that at the end of the day, we had to have something to show. You know, not only were we doing this for, you know, our own benefit and our own kicks, but we were getting marked for it. So we had to have a plan. We had to have a schedule. We had to know when things could be done by. We had to have buffers in there in case something went wrong, like if one of us got sick or something like that. Planning for the worst case and stuff like that.
So it really forced you to buckle down and get the project done. And
Yeah, and then in the end, we had like that crunch time effect where 3 weeks off from the due date, we're all just like, oh no, quick, scramble.
oh man, so what kind
Screaming and no sleep.
Yeah.
So what kind of things did you guys have to do in order to fit that deadline? Did you have to make any cuts or anything?
A lot, we did. So in the beginning, once we had settled on, you know, a first-person shouter, and we had settled on the idea of lads versus nerds, we had this big wish list of things we wanted to have in the game. And initially, we knew that we could only do like the basic pack, and the basic pack is pretty much just like shouting at things, having people hurt you, so a health system. Initially, it was pitch, so we pulled back on that. Initially, it was phonics, and again, we pulled back on that, so now it's just sound.
Okay.
So that was the first simplification that we had.
That sounds like that would save a lot of time.
Yeah. Initially, we wanted to have a whole different array of enemy types. So in the end, I think we only got 2, technically 3, but really only 2.
Yeah, there's 2 main guys, then a boss.
Yeah.
I know when I did my playthrough,
Yeah.
the boss showed up like earlier.
That middle rugby guy.
Yeah.
In that big quadrangle thing, he's meant to be like a I don't know what you call that, a half boss, like the little
Mini
challenge
boss.
game. Yeah,
Mini boss.
Going the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed. Was that it supposed to be a cutscene when he died?
yeah. Because you know, it was kind of hard to fight that guy. A lot of people, you know, would have to work quite hard to fight him, and so we wanted to reward you a little bit with some slow-mo ragdoll fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really awesome when he dies and he runs through a door and just like takes out 2 other lads and a desk.
Oh, that didn't happen for me when I played. That would have been cool. And the whole engine's just set up for that, isn't it? Like just the way the physics damage the enemies.
Yeah, it's relatively simple. Unity kind of has like this stuff ready for you. You just have to play with some values.
Yeah. Yeah, I always find it's trouble. Like, I know with the FPS 1 tutorials, like, I'm pretty sure using a rigid body for your character, like, in the Unity documentation, they tell you not to do that. But
Yeah.
it seems like this was a good game to do that because, like, well, I guess there was never any time that you had rigid bodies flying at you, but I know that in Robot Zombies, like, every once in a while the robots would like kick like a box towards the player and then it would like knock you back, and like it would happen rarely, but it was a really cool effect that just happened automatically by using a rigid body.
Yeah, rigid bodies just make things happen.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, that's what I really like about them is like they're also sort of easier to program with because like you know how they're going to work because rigid bodies are designed to emulate like real world what happens in real life.
Yeah, so you can go into the program and literally just say, when hit by this box at this speed, get hurt.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Let's see. I know I had a question that I was going to ask, and my mind just blanked. It was probably a question for Jade.
Oh no. I mean, yes.
I think I was gonna. It had something to do with. I was asking like what cuts you guys had to make, and I guess let's talk about. So well, I guess this. I don't know how this will work with your project because you said that you kind of designed it as you went.
Yeah,
but
and I think that was a direct effect of it being, like the way we talked about it in our group was, we have this amount of time, 24 weeks. If we can get to, a base level of the game, then anything else we can build on top of that is just extra, and will get us extra marks,
Okay.
hopefully, in the end. I don't know. We still haven't received marks yet, but
Okay.
hopefully
Yeah.
it works out like
It seems like for a teacher, this is going to be in Australia. You call it marks.
Yeah,
yes.
it's marks,
Grades or something.
grades,
Oh,
etc.
okay.
Great.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
grades. Yeah, because I was gonna say this is gonna be hard for a teacher to grade because it sounds like all your projects are so different.
I think,
Yeah, they
the
are.
way they do it is
I don't
fast.
understand how they do it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was also going to ask you how actually like working in a school affected this project as opposed to working like as a hobby at home or something like that, or like friends after school sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
were there advantages to being in a school full of other artistic students and?
There was a pretty damn big advantage. Like one of the first things the course asked you to do was to do the planning, was to actually give us schedules. And I mean, it's one of those things you tell people to do it, and they all just go, it's so useless. It's a waste of time." And it does feel like that. But I can tell you now that actually creating a schedule, saying when you're going to get things done by what week, really tells you how much you're asking and how much you're going to do. Because when we first started, we realized we had, I believe, modeling, animating, texturing, and basic physics and an engine in about like all of that
3
done
weeks.
at the same time in like 2 weeks,
Wow.
Yeah.
all overlapping. We're like, that's not that. No, I need to sleep at some point. So, like, we had to actually think about what we were going to do and how we're going to do it. Because I mean, when you describe the idea of first-person shooter, you just go, it's just a first-person shooter, except you shout. It sounds so simple.
Hmm.
When you actually put it down on paper of what you need to do, you realize that it's a lot larger than you think.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
So,
and also because we didn't really use Unity before. Haven't, yeah.
Yes.
It was my first time like programming a Unity game, sort of. I've only done like tutorials before, but
okay.
pretty much this is my first
This was
full game. I
all of
guess.
our first Unity undertaking
Wow.
ever.
Well, you guys did really good.
That's
Yay.
why. That's why there's so many bugs.
Yeah, that's why
You know,
you've got
I
to kind of
actually-
like squint your eyes to look at the game.
I actually don't. I did run into a few bugs, but I didn't run into anything that I thought was like game breaking. So at least there weren't any
Oh,
game
good.
breaking. Well, I
We
guess.
tried to get rid of all the game breakers,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's
You
still one or
didn't-
two in there somewhere.
There's quite a few. We tested recently, and there was a few things that
Yeah.
people.
That's the
Like-
one nice thing about bugs is when you're designing your own game, you know those bugs, but like when you have somebody else completely fresh play your game, they might think that you wanted it to be that way.
Yeah.
Well, one of our players decided to go, you know what, I'm just going to run off somewhere else, and ended up jumping on top of the school,
Oh, yeah.
which was interesting.
Oh,
It's just
really?
like, you kind of just skipped the entire game and went to the boss fight. That's good.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
I got on top of the like halfway up the roof, like accidentally when I was looking at my feet.
Uh,
So, did you guys have to teach yourself all the skills that you needed to create this game, or did you learn it through the school?
We all came, like the three of us at least, I don't know about John, but all three of us came through a computer science background. So we've done at least the first 3 years of comp sci. So we all knew how to
A lot of
program
programming.
like C,
Yep.
Java, Perl. I
Perl.
don't know that one? Yeah, Perl. Yeah, so we at least knew how to code. And at the end of the day, if this didn't work out, we said, fine, we'll just write our own. But that didn't work out in the end. Anyway, so we were
because
confident with-
writing an engine is so much easier.
Yeah. No, so picking up a new language, like, what is it? It's C# and JavaScript, not a problem.
Yeah.
We had done a games design course previously. Some of us did okay on that. Some of us didn't do so well on that one. But anyway, no, so we had the tools to be able to take an idea, from idea to implementation. And that it was all just like confidence. If we didn't feel half as confident as we did by the end of our 4th year, like if we tried this in first year, I think we'd all die slow. Yeah. It's about practice and stuff like that. So
Okay,
and then
so you guys all
our
have like. Wait, sorry, keep going.
Sorry, we all ski talk over each other.
We always
No,
say
we all did go to uni and like did learn these things. Like I was doing a lot of 3D stuff, but really, all uni does is kind of just give you materials to do the study. They don't actually really teach you. So,
you have to have an
um,
interest beforehand before you can really get to it. So if you're not
yeah,
interested in what they're teaching you at university, it's kind of a waste. Well, at least that's my opinion. But
Okay.
yeah. So a lot of this stuff was self-learnt, but there were like the resources were a lot easier to get. Granted, though, that you could learn everything necessary over the internet by following tutorials like ETeeski's.
Thank you.
But yeah, just all you need to do really is to just not be scared. Download these programs, dive in, and you'll learn so much faster.
yeah,
Then going
Good mark.
to 4 years of college.
Yeah, not saying it's a waste.
Yeah.
Still good.
Yeah.
I
So
think the good
You
thing
gotta-
about one of
gotta
these
dive
is that our lecturers were so knowledgeable already. Like we have this awesome games design lecturer who can just look at something and know exactly where the problem is.
oh, nice.
And I have no idea how he does it. He's like a genius, I swear.
The
And
kind
then
of person who goes, "Hey, here's a cool picture. That'd make a really cool game. What if I just make a prototype? Oh, here's a prototype, and it's just brilliant.
Oh man.
It's just it's not fair."
and then our arts, for the guys at Kofa, although they didn't really understand what we were doing because they mainly deal with fine art, they at least knew how to make sure we were on track. They, challenged us to do more in the next week than we had already previously done, so that way we could, achieve these milestones faster. I liked that. It meant
Okay.
that I was stressed because
Yeah, that
we
is
were going to get
good.
it done on time.
Yeah, that's something I feel like I should learn myself because for all of my projects, I do have like a plan of when I kind of want to get things done, but it's like, I just kind of like, well, I feel like working on this part right now, and like, it's just, yeah, I guess I can see we're having that like deadline and like other,
Like it's stress inducing, and I completely understand why people don't want to say, okay, I need to get it done by next weekend or whatever. But like even in my own experience, whenever I said, yeah, I want to make this project, like, oh, I want to clean my room, for example, it never gets done because I don't have a job.
Such an intense project.
yeah.
It is. Anyway, yeah.
But like having these deadlines really teaches you to basically kill your babies. To basically go, look, I really wanted this, but I cannot meet the deadline trying
If
to
I-
do it.
Yeah.
We have to drop it. Like you have to cut things because otherwise you're not going to get it done.
It forces you to stick to what's important.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So, how many of you guys feel like you're going to go into game design as a career?
I'd love to.
Uh, I would like to. I have like interned and made a few things, and Chris is currently interning
Yes.
Oh, really?
at the
Currently,
same
yeah,
place.
Where are you interning at?
for different job. Yeah. What?
Blowfish Studios.
Blowfish.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've heard. Oh, wait, no, they do a lot of iPhone games, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a
some- yeah.
concept artist on Razor
and I'm
Salvation,
a-
which is
I'm a junior programmer currently. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. That sounds like a really fun opportunity.
basically
Yeah.
make games, then abuse all the game developing studios you know. Just go, hey, I can do these things. You should hire me. And the worst they can do is just say, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Or actually, the worst thing they could do is yell no, swear at you, then slam the phone, and that's really unlikely.
Yeah.
So just try it.
Just try.
So that would be your advice to anybody who wants to go into video game design as a career?
Yeah, make games or just like make the things that you want to do. So like if you're a modeler, just make models, make them good, and just spread them everywhere. And then after that, go approach these studios and say, hey, I do these things. Do you have a position? And, you might get lucky and they might go, hey, I know your things. I've seen them before. Why not? Come along. So
That's cool. So do you think getting like these internships at Blowfish did having or going to this fine arts college help you achieve that internship?
Definitely. Get like, in all honesty, a lot of people, including me, we all lack a little bit of self-motivation. We'd all like to say, "Hey, I want to make something now," but you kind of never do it. So uni, etc., college, they'll actually force you. They'll actually ask you to make something, and you'll actually do it instead of just promising you'll do it.
Okay. Huh. Are there a lot of game design studios in your area?
In
Uh,
Australia.
in
Um,
Australia, not too many, no.
Is it like
well,
Blowfish like one of the only ones then?
oh, you've got Half Brick, Blowfish. There's a 2K game somewhere around Sydney. Actually, I think that might be in Melbourne right now.
Huh.
Um, if we're honest, probably Melbourne is the place to be for games design in Australia. Sydney, although they've started bringing some stuff here,
We've got
um,
the
it's a
remains of
lot.
Bondi, the guys who made
Yeah,
LA.
we've got
They,
skeletons left
they're
over.
working on something else, actually.
Yeah, I know
At
around
least,
my area there's only like one game design studio, and I think that's S2 Games.
oh,
Like that's the nearest one within, I don't know, like I have to leave the state to go to any other game design studios.
But basically, I mean, you don't really
would to
have to
leave
work at a
the state.
studio, though.
Right, yeah.
A lot of the studios around here are basically guys who are just going, I'm kind of bored of being a doctor. You want to make some iPhone games? Yeah, sure. Like, just working out of their apartment. Like, it's, they started small, and everyone starts small. So just make something silly for anything, computer, etc. Put it up on the internet, and if it works out, just keep going at it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely indie studios are
Becoming it.
becoming so much more successful, and like it's really common to hear of like virtual studios where people like will gather up a team completely around the world and they haven't even ever met face to face yet they're making a game together and
Yeah. See,
can
I don't know how the hell they do that, but I would love to know.
yeah. Yeah, so how do you think this project would have turned out if you guys had to communicate only through internet?
Well, ooh, half of it was via the internet. Like most of the time, we would just do this. We just Skype chat each other and be like, "Hey, I've implemented this feature. Can everyone like grab it and test it as much as they can, and then get back to me on how it worked?"
Okay.
We did have physical meetings because we had to meet our lecturers, of course, and show them what we made. Those were also very useful. So, like, what was it, bi-weekly? So every fortnight, we would meet back up and say, commit the code into a stable platform and then demo it.
Show it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good because it just means you have like backup versions. You can see how all the pieces work together. But if we did it all virtually, you could still probably do that. You just wouldn't, the whole team wouldn't see how it worked out at the same
Like, there
time.
are some huge benefits being able to, meet face to face and make these games, though, because part of it, like for example, testing, there are things that you just won't be able to see online, like not
Mm.
face to face.
Hmm.
Um, when we were doing testing, you really have to watch for body language as well, and I'm not sure how well that comes across over Skype,
Oh yeah.
even especially since I don't even have a webcam. So, yeah, no, there are lots of benefits to actually being able to talk to your team, but I don't know how the hell they do it over the internet. They managed to do it somehow. So,
Yeah. Seems
yeah.
some great games emerged that way. All right. So what was I going to ask after that? I can't remember. But so where do you guys plan on taking Vertis Per Verba after this? You plan on doing anything with it?
Well, um, we would like to obviously polish up the single player a bit. Those game breaking bugs, man.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Also, this is a really far-fetched idea right now, but we would like to see if we could do multiplayer. We would like to see if
Oh
that
yeah.
because, like, I mean, if you've ever been to a LAN party, all everyone does is yell at each other. So we
Yeah.
thought, why not make that the game instead? Instead of playing League of Legends or Dota 2, whatever, and yelling at everyone, just why not actually play the game where yelling at everyone is how to win?
Yeah, that would
Imagine
actually be really cool.
on mobile as well, sitting people screaming at their phones on the bus.
Oh yeah.
That's always been the thing that I would find hilarious if it
That
ever
would be
took
really
off.
cool. That'd be hard to get on mobile because there's so many rigid bodies, though. I wonder if there'd be a way that you can like scale down the physics.
Mm.
Well, we were thinking like for a mobile version, we'd have to change the game completely because
Yeah.
like first person, it's been done on
Yeah.
iOS and it's not nice. Like I don't.
Yeah, it's a
One
little
thing I really
tricky.
don't like about iOS games is those fake touch controls they put.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's like, well, why did you do that? You clearly haven't designed the game for the iPhone.
Yeah.
You've just the game across.
I have
So,
played.
like-
I have played. What was it? It was Nova, I think. And after iOS 4 or something, the iPhones had gyroscopes built into them, and that really
Mhm.
helped out first-person shooters. But I know there's a way to access those in Unity, but you have to kind of like, I think you have to hack it through C# or something like that, and you have to somehow
So,
sync it up with.
Currently, everything we've had to do in Unity is a hack.
Oh yeah.
Like that microphone stuff was just one ginormous hack. It's really
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I didn't
Pretty
ask
dope.
you guys about how you actually got access to the microphone inside of Unity.
Oh, it's ugly. You don't want to know.
Really?
You really don't want to know.
It's just a script
But,
we found online,
Oh, okay. So
wasn't it?
Yeah.
so you got like third
But,
party.
like-
Mostly.
Yeah, no, we were
Yeah.
trawling the Unity forums because microphone support was just released when we started the project, so we were like, oh, thank God for that.
Oh, that's lucky.
But lots of people are on the forums going, how the hell do I use this, etc. And there are some weird things you have to do, like when you're trying to record from the microphone, you need to actually pause the game for a certain amount of time until the microphone starts before the rest of the game can continue. Otherwise, just
Huh.
things get messy. So
Is that why the
But
game
yeah.
starts off in slow motion?
Uh, no, it's just the
That's a
game has
different
this
effect.
massive
Yeah.
pause.
Or is that just so
It's
that
not-
the bully wouldn't tackle you right away, so you had
Yeah,
have
right.
time to
So-
react?
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have. I don't know how long this interview has turned into, but it looks like we've.
All hours.
It
Quite
sounds
long.
like we've talked about this entire game. It sounds like we've covered pretty much everything, unless you guys can think of any key interesting points that would be worth discussing before we close up this interview.
I think we've done a lot.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
Apart from
We've
you
pretty-
guys should download the demo and play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Link in the description.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey.
Yep. And so yes, this has been Yosha, Jade, Chris, and John is not here, and you guys are. What was it again? Anti-Socialites.
There you go.
Anti-Socialites.
Anti-Socialites. The Anti-Socialites. And Vertis Per Verba, first-person shooter. So definitely go download the demo and go play it. Do you know when the full version is going to be out to the public?
Well, we're gonna try and do this multiplayer thing, see if it's even like
Okay.
possible.
You're
And
gonna,
if it's not, then we're just gonna throw it out there.
okay, so
Yeah.
you're just gonna. So it's pretty much up in the air where the project's really gonna go then.
Yeah. Pretty
Mm.
I
Alright.
think technically
We don't
we've
have
got to
deadlines
change it
anymore.
from. Yeah, we don't have deadlines anymore. But no, I think
Yeah,
technically we need to
agreed.
change it from an exhibition piece to an actual game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit too theatrical at the
People aren't
moment.
particularly fond of yelling for more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember after that boss, I was like, I was so tired. I was like, I'm done.
It's like actually fighting people.
Yeah, I was like, good thing I'm already sitting down. But yeah, so if people want to keep up with your project and what you guys have been doing, where should they go to get that information?
Well, we've got a Facebook page, facebook.com/the Anti-Socialites. We'll just put links. We can do that.
Link in the description. Link in the description for
yeah.
everything.
If you want to see
we've
more
also
about
got a
how we
Tumblr.
made it, yeah, check out our
There's
Tumblr
a
if you want
Tumblr.
all those details. It's,
Oh, I did not know you guys had a Tumblr.
Yeah, it's got all the details about like week by week we had to do like a journal. So Yosha has most of his journal stuff up there. So it has all of our testing videos, all of the concept arts and like walkthroughs that well, not necessarily walkthroughs, but just like it shows the breakdown from where we went every week. So it's good. It's a good read.
Sounds awesome.
In
I'll
my
definitely go
opinion.
check that
So
out.
you can
Yeah.
have fun reading that one post where I'm just raging at Dropbox for crashing.
Oh yeah.
Or, like about half an hour before it was due.
Oh
Dropbox
man.
decided to
And
die.
I couldn't get any of our stuff. I'm like, oh dear.
So you had to turn it in through Dropbox to your teacher?
Yeah,
No, we
and
were just sharing our stuff over Dropbox,
Oh, I
which is
see.
probably not the wisest decision.
Yeah.
probably
Now, yeah,
had
now
to-
everyone tells me you should have made a backup. It's like, well, why didn't you tell me that before it happened?
Oh yeah, that was one thing I was gonna ask you guys before the interview ended, is how you guys transferred files to each other in the project and how you guys all stayed synchronized.
Dropbox
Yep,
and
just
lots of
Dropbox.
communication. Yeah, it's
Drag
not
the
the
whole-
easiest thing
Yep.
to do.
So did you
Weird.
just like Dropbox the whole Unity
The
project
whole
then?
project. Yep.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's
Worked
terrible.
fine,
It's
it
a
worked
terrible
fine.
system.
Did you guys just have really, really big hard drives then?
Uh,
But
yeah.
the game's only about a gig in size.
Oh,
at,
really?
Like, yeah, it's only a
Yeah.
gig.
Less than, yep.
I need
Like-
to do some work because my game is like 5 gigs or 6
Wow.
gigs.
Well, you are doing like other more like high-res detail texture things. We were really thinking about optimization from the beginning, even though it doesn't show. The game still chugs along, but
No, I didn't
it-
notice on my computer at least.
my laptop, it cries endlessly. When
Oh my god. Yeah, for my game, Robot Zombies, performance optimization is the biggest issue with that game. Like, as soon as I finished it, I couldn't even play it on the computer that I had at the time.
Oh.
So, I'm like, alright, the game's done. I haven't played it, but you guys can. Performance
yeah, but,
optimization.
like, yeah, no, it's hard. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially doing level of detail, since Unity Indie doesn't support it. We had to do strange hack things to get that working.
Hmm.
Kind of works. You can see the
You can see it
The-
pop in though, which is really
the
bad.
Oh, do you actually have level of detail in the game?
Yeah.
I didn't spot that.
Ah, go back and check it
Well,
out. I
I
totally saw
there
it on
is
your
no
video.
level of detail.
Oh, I will have to go check that out. I didn't notice at all. And I was
the-
looking for like every game design aspect that I could. I would have thought I would have caught that.
Fence, and the fence is one of the worst ones.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
I
I saw
did.
it when you were looking at
Stand
the
back just
fences
like
in the
l-
video. And,
Just 2
the
meters.
bin as well. The bin has a nice little pop in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was interesting how you made 2 rigid bodies to make the trash can.
Mm.
Part of the
And-
fun was being able to break things apart, like actually pulling taps and transformers of science desks or
Oh yeah.
Sort of break
on the
down to
drawers out.
pieces.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't notice, that the sink faucet, that you could knock that off. I didn't realize that until I went back and actually watched my own footage that happened.
Yeah, we wanted to just give people options. I mean, you can actually pull off the lights from the ceiling if you
Oh,
if
yeah.
you like hit it with something. Of course, it's really light and kind of pointless, but we did it anyway.
Yeah, that was really nice touch. All right, well, awesome. So I guess we'll pretty much wrap up this interview. So this has been Anti-Socialites and talking about their game, Anti-Society Studios. I mean,
Anti-Socialites.
brain fart.
Almost had it, man. Almost had
Almost.
it.
You got it before. You got it before.
Vertis Per Verba, first-person shouter by Anti-Socialites.
It's a
Yeah,
really long
yeah.
one. Should fix
Did
that.
it. Got it. All right, so if you want to go, the demo is currently out. Link is in the description. They have a Tumblr and a Facebook, and all the links are in the description. So yeah, I guess thanks for being on the show and talking about your game. This was a great interview.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
thanks
thanks.
for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again. And see you guys later, and keep making games.
We will.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing the millions of blue underlined links in the description.
Yeah, there's gonna be so many. All right. Well, I guess this is the end of the interview. Goodbye, and keep making games.
Bye bye.
All right, I'll cut that at some point.
Yep.
I don't know how
Like
that'll
the
work with
5
editing.
different goodbyes we said to each
Saying
other.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Hey, goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, we're done. We're done. I think we're done.
Yeah.